All right, we got the car loaded on the trailer. We are right now heading over to Devin's shop. I will be using his lift. I have an other oil leak that is coming from a weird spot. I can't trace it down. It's not coming from my dipstick anymore. So he so graciously is letting me use his lift so I can easily, it'll be a lot easier to work on the car and spot where this leak is coming from, as opposed to trying to slide around on my shop floor and figure out where it's coming from. So we're heading to a shop right now. We'll get it unloaded, get on the lift, and we'll be taking a look to see what is going on. All right, little update for you guys. My camera died, of course, as soon as I got to Devin's shop. When I thought would be just a easy fix, has turned into me now pulling the motor here at Devin's shop. So what happened is, on the back of the block, you have your wrist pin access points. I believe that the metal plate on the right side, because it is a used one, I don't think it was bent back properly, because when you remove them, they bend very easily. It is leaking out of there, at least that is what we are thinking. So I am now pulling the motor out to reseal that. Motor's almost ready. I'm pulling it with everything attached still, hoping that's gonna make things a little bit easier when I'm trying to reinstall everything. But we're almost to the point to pull this motor. Now that my camera has charged up a little bit, I'll get some time lapses for you guys.
I feel like it would be more.
You'd think. It'll pull it off anyway.
Yeah. Where's that?
And the plate, you see this metal plate right there?
Yeah.
It's that plate. Or I guess it could be the to the plate on that side. The metal plate seems more likely. All of this to just get the dipstick placed back in.
What's half the problem? Is this gay ass thing's in the way? Send her home?
Send her home.
Oof.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us. And love is all we'll ever trust. No, I don't wanna waste what's left.
I don't think so. No, this is back.
It sounded right.
Nope. Oh, let me see. Where it needs to go now? Oh, it needs to go this way. Yeah.
Did the mouse drop in right?
Oh, it's so close. Oh. Update for you guys. We got the motor, everything back in the car, coolant bled, everything, no leaks at all. So when I went to go drive the car, it would lock me out of every gear. The throwout bearing was not engaged all the way, but it is. When the car is off, it goes through gears, no problem. Clutch works perfectly. When I started the car, I can start the car in first gear and drive it through the other gears just fine, but when I stop, it locks me out of it again. And I think we either bent the clutch fork or the throwout bearing, which means we have to pull the motor yet again. This is the third time now this week. Either gonna be pulling the motor or the trans. I've never pulled a trans on an STI, so I have no idea how easy it is, if it's gonna be easier than just pulling the motor again. But that is where we're at right now. It is also Sunday and the car needs to be running tonight on a trailer, so we have to get to work. All right, I've decided I am going to be pulling the motor. I've done it a million times, so it makes more sense to me as opposed to doing the trans, which I've never done before. I think I am going to try, before I just popped off the AOS lines on there, I think I'm just gonna disconnect the AOS from the pitch mount, disconnect the power steering from here. I normally always take off the pump so I don't have to rebleed it. But I think I'm gonna disconnect it from here, keep all the accessories together. I'll have to pull off one fuel line, drain the coolant, take off the up pipe, and I'm just gonna pull it as assembled as I possibly can and hope we can get this issue figured out. Update for you guys. I found the issue and it was actually with the clutch itself. Yesterday when we were putting the clutch on, we were not using the correct tool, alignment tool. We were using a single disc one, which meant that the back plate was not actually aligned, and when we were putting it in, it fucked up all of the splines in the clutch, which made it so it could not slide onto the transmission input shaft smoothly. Devin recommended I go get a file and file down the splines, which I didn't think was gonna work. Sure enough, it did work though, and it slides on like butter now. So that should fix our issue. We're gonna go ahead and put the clutch back on the motor, drop it in, and fingers crossed that I do not have to pull this motor again and the clutch works good. All right, it is now later in the day. We have the motor back in the car. Everything is hooked back up. We just have to get the radiator in, battery, charge pipe, and we should be good to go. I do have to rebleed that power steering pump because I did take that off to try to make it easier, even though it turned out it made it a little bit longer of a process. I mean, by like a minute. But we are about to get first startup here, and hopefully the clutch works this time. Yeah, I'm really hoping. That's the only issue before we let this ran for quite a while. No leaks, everything is dry. I do actually have one small baby leak, and that is coming from the oil return. We accidentally broke ours yesterday trying to pull the motor. So we have that homemade line that just isn't quite tight enough, and it just barely leaks. So I do have to get a new one. I might have one at home. I'm not quite sure, but that is the least of my worries right now. Car drives great, and hopefully the clutch works. If not, I'm gonna be very upset, and I don't know what I'm gonna do because I'm not going to be pulling this for the third time in 24 hours. 2 times is already enough. But enough talking. I will set you guys down, and I'll pick up the camera once we get a first start, or like a 4th start now. Well, as I am editing this video, I completely forgot to actually get you guys a official first startup clip. Things were happening so fast, we were in a huge time crunch trying to get the car done and load on the trailer and get all of the moss and stuff done. So unfortunately, I wasn't really able to close out this video. The only clip I was able to get was loading it onto the trailer. Everything went smoothly. I don't know if I mentioned I still am running into clutch issues. I'm able to drive though from a stop. It just is very grindy. Obviously that's not what we want. So we will be pulling the motor again. I already needed to upgrade the clutch, so not that big of a concern. I just wanted the car to be able to make it to Gatlinburg and drive around, which it is perfectly fine to do in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Huge shout out to Devin again for letting me use his shop. What turned out to be a 2-day deal instead of the 15 minutes I was hoping it would take to find this leak. It ended up turning into pulling this motor several times. So, huge shout out to Devin for letting me use his lift and take up his shop space. Greatly appreciated. I'll see you guys in the next one.